Jimmy V Women's Classic, presented by Corona. A tremendous atmosphere here at the Joy Center in South Bend, Indiana, as we get set for a great game and celebrating even a greater cause with this Jimmy V Women's Basketball Classic this afternoon. Hi, everybody, and welcome to South Bend. I'm Beth Mowens, along with Rebecca Lobo. We've got Holly Rowe with us as well. Not only a great game, but for a great cause here this afternoon.
Yeah, one of the best rivalries in the history of women's college basketball, UConn and Notre Dame, and absolutely one of the best weeks to cover basketball for us here at ESPN.
Yeah, let's dive in now to this matchup. We've got a couple of spectacular sophomores ready to go head-to-head and renew these hostilities.
We will start with the UConn sophomore, AZ Fudd, 6th in the nation in scoring at 24 points per game, and doing it with an incredible efficiency. One of the reasons she has played her way into the National Player of the Year conversation. Such incredible quickness on the release of her shot. Has been leading Connecticut so far in this young season. And for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Olivia Miles at 6, just under 7 assists a game. Incredible flair to her game. The 5'10 sophomore makes the fancy pass, but can also finish and score as well. Just under 16 points per game.
Miles and the Irish will try and bounce back from their first loss of the season to Maryland earlier in the week. And AZ Fudd, number 6 in the country in scoring at 24 points per game, has UConn off to the hot start with 3 top 10 wins already. It is a rivalry that goes back a long way, for some more than others, Holly Rowe.
Well, that's right. Today, for the first time since they faced off in high school, UConn's Aubrey Griffin and Notre Dame's Sonia Citron will be facing each other since they threw down in a heated rivalry game in Westchester, New York. Look at this. The last time they met, an absolutely epic performance. 35 points, 16 rebounds for Aubrey, 29 and 12 for Sonia. This will be the first time they've seen each other since. You got to believe they remember, because Aubrey let us know she won that game. But the rivalry continues right now.
Well, that one will be fun to track this afternoon. Home whites for the Fighting Irish, road blues for UConn.
Right away, UConn starting off in man-to-man defense. Interesting for me to see how involved early Dara Mabry can get. She's been struggling with her 3 a little bit the last couple of games.
Westbelt tries to feed it inside, a kicked ball.
Trying to go inside to Watson, who has the size advantage. Aubrey Griffin starting at the 4 spot for UConn, undersized there.
It's a UConn team that last year had 30 wins and a trip to the national championship game, but they are without their All-American Paige Beckers due to an ACL, and their top freshman Ice Brady also out for the season with a knee injury. So they have some other players stepping up, including this one right here. The shot no good from Aubrey Griffin, and it's tracked down by Maddie Westbeld, who is following in her sister's footsteps playing for the Irish. And there's the drive and finish for Miles.
Olivia Miles is so good when she can get out in transition. In order to do that, Notre Dame has to get on the defensive glass. It was Neil Ivy's #1 priority in this game.
Aaliyah Edwards, one of the most improved players in the country already this year. Off the bounce and the kick out. Griffin starts out 0 for 2. The Irish love to rebound and run. This is their forte, and that pass from Miles a little too hot to handle. Niele Ivey in her 3rd season as the head coach, but it's her 20th year at Notre Dame, longtime assistant. And she was a part of the Notre Dame team back in 2001, the very first group of Fighting Irish to beat Connecticut on the court. They did it twice that year, including at the Final Four. And they've got a bunch of defenders chasing AZ Fudd all over the floor, and the shot is good from Nika Mule.
Yeah, Notre Dame's playing a man-to-man, but they are face-guarding AZ Fudd no matter where she is. She had Citron on her to start that possession, just completely over top of her in the corner. Notre Dame knows how important Fudd is to Connecticut's offense.
Miles gets the switch. And an offense offensive foul called on the screen there will be on Kylie Watson. There's Gino Auriemma, 38 years now at Connecticut with those 11 national championships, 2 of those over Notre Dame in 2014 and 2015. This is the 53rd meeting all-time. UConn has the 39-13 advantage, including a win last year during the regular season in Stores. They throw it over the top of the defense and out of bounds.
Next time down when Connecticut has the basketball, just keep your eyes on AZ Fudd and the way that Citron is just completely, no matter where Fudd is, she might be in the corner, she is completely face guarding her, trying to prevent her from getting the basketball.
Citron runs the baseline. Fudd trying to deny her the ball. Sonia is the leading scorer this year for Notre Dame. And the baseline drive, the ball out of bounds off of Connecticut. 13 on the shot clock. Got a whistle and a foul. I think they're going to get the hold on Mule underneath.
Yeah, Nika Mule got switched onto a big because of a nice screen from Notre Dame. Was trying to fight around because she was giving up size, but got the foul there. She has to stay out of foul trouble for Connecticut. She is so important to them on both ends of the floor.
Citron short. Good box out for Connecticut. They'll rebound and push. Here is AZ Fudd. Mule looking to be more of a scorer. Hits the three. Miles, nobody stops ball. She goes coast to coast.
Really good. Olivia Miles, so good when she gets that head full of steam, gets out in transition. Couple nice finishes already here.
Yeah, they lost the rebounding battle in their loss to Maryland earlier in the week, and that meant they couldn't run with it. And here they come again. Dara Mabry, their top three-point shooter. Miles calling for it. Scoops it up, and a foul on Fudd. You get the sense Olivia knows the national spotlight's on today.
She's not a player that seems to shy away from anything.
Let's check in with Holly.
Talking to Olivia Miles before the game, I asked her greatest areas of improvement this season and her focal point, and she said 2 things: pace and aggression. She wants to push the pace. She knows she's good in transition. She knows she's got great court vision, but she wants to be aggressive, and I think those are the 2 things that are showing up early in this ball game: pace and aggression for Olivia Miles.
And we've seen her take it to the basket and score, but when she has teammates open, she doesn't hesitate. As soon as they're open, she's going to look to make the pass. She doesn't think twice about it. Here, now it's a different defender on AZ Fudd.
That's the freshman Kiki Bransford. Here comes Miles again. She's got all 5 of the Fighting Irish points. Sidestep, shot is up. Griffin's got it. 1-on-2 right now. That doesn't stop her. Misses on the shot, and it goes to Notre Dame.
Really good defense by Citron. Really good defense. She certainly made an impact in this game on that end of the floor. Has only taken 1 shot, no points, but she has been impactful defensively.
Connecticut early on. We've only had 2 players score so far, Miles and Mule. They try and feed Lauren Ebo inside, and it's a misconnect. Ebo's the grad transfer from Texas. Both sides have had positive impact from their transfers out of the portal this year. Fudd will try for 3 from the top. Citron to Miles, and here they come. Ebo. Edwards came over to help and bother the shot. And now Mule, the national assist leader, looking for a shooter. There's one. Lou Lopez Seneschal. Little off balance. Good box for Notre Dame.
Good boxing. Just outstanding defense so far in this game by Notre Dame.
Miles got it off the window.
Going to her right, throwing it over her left shoulder away from the basket. That is a tough shot.
They are really working to keep Fudd out of the game right now. Griffin unattended from 16.
Niele Ivey told us that she wanted her team to match Connecticut's toughness and physicality. To me, they have set the standard in terms of toughness and physicality so far in this first quarter.
Miles drops it off for Ebo, who slipped the screen and missed the layup. UConn just 2 of 11 shooting so far. Edwards faces up, goes to work, short.
Good, strong defense by Ebo.
Four minutes to go, and nary a whistle to be heard so far. Both sides catching their breath a little bit.
Niele Ivey's subbed a number of times. Connecticut not one yet.
Ebo trying to body her way inside. Edwards held her ground.
This game is physical inside.
Trail Lopez Seneschal got it.
These have been the only easy looks we've seen. There's a couple from Mule and that one from Lopez Seneschal.
Gino was telling us earlier, right, the addition of her, they got a little better shooting team than a year ago, right? Transfer from Fairfield. Watson, good ball fake. Gets to the 10.
Another thing Niele Ivey told us is important was getting touches in the paint, whether that was off of dribble penetration or direct entries to her bigs.
8 of their 9 in the paint. The other was a free throw. Fudd off the cross. Nice drop off. Edwards lays it up and in. Those two have really elevated their games this year.
And some good decisions by Azzi Fudd early. She missed on the first drive that she took, but a great decision there to take it off the bounce and then to find her teammate, not getting rattled by the defensive pressure that she's seeing.
Mule was not letting Miles come back to her right hand.
Think we're going to have a whistle in the last 3 minutes of this quarter?
Bransford blocked. Chances are getting slimmer and slimmer. They are.
Rebecca. They are.
Oh, might have missed a walk there. Mule trying to take advantage.
A walk would have necessitated a whistle.
There's a head ball.
If you came to this game to watch some elite point guard play, you've gotten an eye full already. Olivia Miles getting it done for Notre Dame, and Nika Mule draining from deep.
Jimmy V Women's Classic, it is close to capacity. Stars are out today, including Notre Dame football coach Marcus Freeman. Got a few of his kids with him at the ball game today. Big day for Notre Dame football and for UConn football, right? Bowl bids are coming out this afternoon.
First play out of the timeout, Connecticut looking to run a double screen for Azzi Fudd to get a shot. And Bransford just blew right through it. That's how physical Notre Dame is playing on the defensive end of the floor.
4 baskets for UConn, 3 of them triples. And for Notre Dame, Olivia Miles has 7 of their 9 points. They've turned it over 5 times. Lou Lopez Seneschal walks with it. Hey, Tuesday on ESPN, it's the Jimmy V Classic on the men's side from Madison Square Garden in New York. Illinois, Texas at 7, followed by Iowa, Duke at 9:30. That's Tuesday night on ESPN. To donate, go to v.org/donate. Miles thought about it. Off the bounce through traffic. Little English on it. Scoop it up and in.
In their shoot around this morning, Gino Orion was telling his team, don't let Olivia Miles go right. They know she wants to go right. Saying don't let her go there is a lot easier than actually not letting her go there.
Edwards. Nice spin in the paint. 6'3" junior from Canada who's doubled her scoring and rebounding this year. See if they can get Mabry a look. She hasn't had one yet.
She hasn't needed to.
No,
Miles just doing whatever she wants. Just comes off the little rub screen there, pulls up and hits the shot.
One-woman wrecking crew right now. 11 for Olivia. Final minute of the first quarter. Mule's pass picked off. Miles coast to coast. Lefty lane is goal.
Gino Oriema was out on the floor trying to get the officials to stop the game. Maisie Fudd has something going on, I think, with her knee.
Yeah, she just reached for her right knee. The athletic trainer is over there working on her. Major development for Connecticut. Mule off the mark. Miles calling for it. The outlet. The push. Finds the shooter. Mabry. 3. Olivia Miles lighting it up for Notre Dame.
Does Holly have anything?
Well, a major development for Connecticut. This is A.Z. Fudd, one of the leading scorers in the country. A teammate knocked down and backed into her leg. She left for the bench and has since walked back to the UConn locker room.
She's been so incredibly important to Connecticut so far in this season, doing so many things for them.
Averaging 24 points per game. Final seconds of the first quarter. Citron, good if it goes. And a hot start for Olivia Miles in Notre Dame, 18-13. The Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. One of the great rivalries in college sports over the years. Standing O for Muffet McGraw from the home crowd, introduced during that last break. Guiding the Fighting Irish to 2 national championships, one of those with current head coach Niele Ivey as her point guard. Well, there she is up in the rafters, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer Muffet McGraw in the house. Gotta like the score through 1, and Olivia Miles has been dominant. 6 for 7. She's got 13 points to lead the way. A.Z. Fudd out right now for Connecticut, Holly Rowe.
Yeah, I just briefly saw their athletic trainer, Janelle Francisco, massaging the top of her calf where it meets the knee, on the inside of her knee. You saw that slight hyperextension as that player backed into her. This massaging going on, and they've taken her back to the locker room.
Right now, Connecticut has a small lineup on the floor. Notre Dame has an extra large lineup on the floor, and they took advantage of it on that last possession.
Ayanna Patterson, the 6'2 freshman from Indiana. She's from Fort Wayne. She replaces Fudd on the floor.
And without Fudd on the floor, Notre Dame can go into their zone defense, and Caroline Ducharme becomes a very important piece offensively for Connecticut against that zone.
And Nika Mule just picked up her second personal foul. So the starting point guard for Connecticut will have to be careful. She'll stay out there.
But look at the difference in size. Griffin giving up size. Patterson giving up size. Lopez Cheneshaw giving up size.
Offensive rebound and a foul.
And that's one of the things that happens, Beth, when you are giving up size.
Hey, Wednesday, it's an NBA doubleheader on ESPN at 7:30. The Hawks take on the Knicks, followed by the Celtics and the Suns. Coverage tips off with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern.
How about Aubrey Griffin's little brother, AJ, playing for the Hawks, playing great for him. Tied his career high with 24 points in their last game on Friday.
Patterson rebounds the miss. It's a 10-0 run right now for Notre Dame to open things up.
Can't give enough credit for what Notre Dame, can't give Notre Dame enough credit for what they're doing on the defensive end of the floor. Connecticut shooting 26%. This has been a potent offensive team this season for UConn.
They come in with a field goal percentage of 54% on the season. And year in and year out, one of the best.
Yeah, they lead the nation in field goal percentage.
Lopez Chanel, the grad student, originally from France. She's hit the 20-point mark a couple of times early in the season for Connecticut. Westbeld walked with it.
It's good defense by Patterson, moving her feet, being strong without fouling.
Substitution, Watson comes on. What have you loved over the years about being a part of this rivalry? And
I've only been a part of it. I've only been a part of it from over here.
Oh, that's right. They weren't in the Big East back then.
They were not in the Big East back then. I tell you what, I enjoyed the heck out of covering a lot of these games. There's been some great ones.
A couple of national championship finals against one another. 7 Big East championship games against one another over the years.
Like the best, Beth?
I love the ability to, be the hero at the end. Again, we've had so many fantastic finishes. All we root for is a close finish and a dramatic ending. Whether it's Sue Bird in the Big East tournament or Ulrika Gumbawale, who's courtside today in the Final Four, those buzzer beaters. They get the most out of each other, don't they?
Yes. I thought you meant you being the hero by making a great call.
There have been a lot of fun ones over the years. Well, so many great players. That's what makes these games special. And that's going to be a travel before the foul. 7th turnover. There's Enrique sitting courtside. Had the game winner at the buzzer.
Officials not happy because we see AZ Fudd returning to the sideline. But I'm sorry, the crowd not happy because one official called a foul and the other called the travel. Nice block shot.
That was AZ over there talking with Paige Beckers, who, of course, last year, her injury took place in the Notre Dame game as well. And out for the season after another injury before things got going this year. Neal almost got the pick. Making her go left. Citron off the bounce. Oh, what a play by Sonia. Over the head, off the backboard and in.
Nice pass out to Citron, and then closeout is there, but across her body. Wow, finishes with the right hand. Going to the left side. Beautiful.
How about an AZ Fudd update, Holly?
Well, AZ Fudd is good to return to this game. You see her checking in right now. They've looked at that right knee. She's already wearing those knee pads. I would imagine they've likely put a brace underneath that. But I saw Paige Beckers turn to her and say, "Are you really okay?" And she shook her head yes.
All right, so Fudd checks back in, the leading scorer for Connecticut this season. Citron honored defensively.
Notre Dame man-to-man with Fudd back in the game.
And that's going to be a foul on Citron trying to fight through that screen.
The 2 hands on the ball handler, which is hilarious considering how physical this game has been.
Mabry comes back on for Bransford. AZ was 0 for 2 before she went out. Did have a couple of assists. And that's a turnover.
Eva was playing about 10 feet off of Aubrey Griffin, and I think that just kind of gave her pause. Sometimes when you're that wide open, you don't want to take the shot. It can make your feet move a little bit.
goes.
Notre Dame using Ebo up top to set a lot of on-ball screens.
Back-to-back travels against Connecticut.
I mean, look at the screen that Ebo sets. You go behind that, forget about it. Miles going to hit that all day.
They go right back to that play.
I mean, they've been using her up there the last bunch of possessions.
Foul's going to be called on Lopez Seneschal.
Great hustle all around. This game matters a lot. You know, UConn has never played in this building. But
none of these
players.
Yep.
Sorry, yes, thank you for the clarification. None of these current players. But they understand the history of this rivalry. Yeah, now Miles getting a little extra attention off the on-ball screen.
Neal made her give it up, and we've got a whistle off the ball and a 3-second violation on Ebo.
I've been there, big girl. She was wide open. She had her defender on her back, and they wouldn't look to get her the basketball. So she's like, I'm going to stay right here because I am open. Got the 3-second call. Sometimes you do it on purpose, Beth.
All those whistles that we didn't hear in the first quarter, we're hearing them all out in the second.
Yes, we are.
Nice cut to the rim, but Griffin couldn't hold on.
That was a tough pass to handle.
Well, that's 3 straight possessions with a giveaway for Connecticut.
Was talking about their paint defense. They've been hurting them inside, and that's making it hard to get the ball to Ebo in her defense. As we see a nice 3 there, but he had a drawn-up play. He wants them all up at the top of the paint and their arms up in the air. It's making those entry passes harder, Rebecca. That's something Gino's been preaching in the huddle.
And the post defense start with pressure on the basketball.
You see a nice high hedge the last couple of times down on that on-ball action up top. Olivia Miles, 15 here in the first half for the Fighting Irish.
Hey, UConn Nation, we need your help. ND fans, let's team up to beat cancer. Please support the V Foundation and go Huskies. Every dollar helps. Go Irish.
All the teams in the women's and men's Jimmy V Classic Games are raising funds for the V Foundation and for cancer research projects at each university. You can show your school pride by visiting v.org/donate and select the school you want to support in fundraising. Every donation made will support critical cancer research. Our Jimmy V Women's Classic here in South Bend. Notre Dame leading UConn 26-18.
Guys, this is a very personal cause to people here at Notre Dame. Anna Marquez, their outstanding athletic trainer, has been battling breast cancer for the last 4 or 5 years. And, you know, we've been visiting through the years about this journey and about how it's gone. And she's been very private about it and battling this so hard on her own. But Sar today gave her a big hug. She's doing well. Her treatment's gone great. But every one of us knows someone in their life that has been impacted by cancer. And we're just so grateful that the treatments have kept up, the research has kept up. So wonderful people like Anna Marquez can continue to be in our lives.
Yeah, it touches all of our families.
Great pass as the double team came over and Ebo wide open to receive it and finish.
Irish are shooting over 60% so far. UConn just 30% in the game. Newell trying to get to the basket and draws the foul on Mabry on the drive.
Connecticut's offense has not looked smooth, and again, all the credit goes to Notre Dame's defense. It's interesting, there's a little bit of similarity to their second quarter against Iowa last weekend, where they just could, but it was against a zone in that case, where they just couldn't find a rhythm, couldn't find a flow, were able to solve the problem in the second half. But similar here, Connecticut having some struggles offensively.
Newell 6 points, a couple of assists. 4 straight games with double-digit assists. That is the first time that has ever happened at Connecticut. And when you think of all the great guards they've had over the years, that's saying something. She also has the single game record for assists. Citron on the drive. Another one-handed scoop.
And another high ball screen by Ebo.
Fudd goes back door. And a kick.
We don't keep this stat in women's college basketball, but the screen assist, I mean, Ebo's right there. It's just enough space to turn the corner for Citron. Like, that's a big body setting a big screen that's been really impactful for Notre Dame.
Westbeld off the miss. See if Ebo gets back up there again.
There she goes.
Citron.
This time it's a flare screen.
Trying to free up Mabry.
I'm just going to keep my eyes on Ebo.
Westbeld knocks down the 3.
Notre Dame shooting 67% in the first half. Been so good on both ends of the floor.
On the drive, Edwards. Again, they make it a tough shot. Citron had it knocked loose by Fudd. And then a foul. Azzi's really trying to gut it out after the injury in that last quarter, trying to fight through it.
Westbeld gives too much cushion from Aubrey Griffin and able to drain the 3. Notre Dame can be dangerous from the perimeter. They've not taken a ton of threes this season, but they can be dangerous from there.
Fudd will check out. She checks in with the athletic trainer on her way back to the bench. See if they can get Aaliyah Edwards established. She's only taken 4 shots so far in this first half. Under 3 minutes to go. Griffin unattended. Aubrey is 0 for 5 here in the first half.
And Notre Dame is playing way off of her. They want her taking that mid-range jumper. She's so good and explosive when she puts the ball on the floor and attacks the rim. So they're giving her that cushion so she can't do that.
Trying to drop it in over the top. That's been their one area of concern. That's 10 turnovers now for the Irish. Edwards hits the 3.
Okay, Aaliyah Edwards, where did that come from?
That's the first of the year for Aaliyah. It is. Miles. Westbeld tries to match it. And does. Griffin on the run. Blocked by Miles. And out of bounds off of UConn.
That was a foul. It looked to me like Miles got, yeah, she's all over Aubrey Griffin's arm. That is an incredible foul.
Wow. Irish will take it. Ebo. Mule. Griffin. Again, you're open for a reason, right?
That's exactly right, yes.
Quick outlet, Mabry. Off the bounce. Got it. Notre Dame taking it to UConn here in the... Gonna be a foul here. Westbeld.
This crowd is fired up. These Notre Dame players are fired up as they should be. They're shooting the lights out. They're defending well.
Outscoring them 29 in the quarter and shooting 73%. Caroline Ducharme gets the free throw. Final minute of this first half. Olivia Miles has been the facilitator. 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Mabry unattended. Got it. Offensive foul called on Ducharme. And Notre Dame can get the last shot of the half.
The play on the floor has fueled the crowd, and the crowd has helped fuel the players. There is an incredible energy for Notre Dame on both ends of the floor.
Citron. And everybody else down along the baseline. Miles sets the screen for Sonia. Bransford drops it off for Ebo. Around and out. Otherwise, an impressive showing for the Irish on both ends of the floor. The impressive first half for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, up 41-24. Led by Olivia Miles with 15 points. And on the defensive end, they held Connecticut to just 27% shooting. They had only 8 baskets through the first 20 minutes of play. As we welcome you back courtside, Beth Mullins, Rebecca Lobo. We've got Holly Rowe with us as well. Really physical, really strong showing those first 20 minutes for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame was absolutely terrific. And Niele Ivey told us before the game, we need to rebound, and they certainly did that. We need to show physical toughness. They certainly did that.
Plus 10, in fact, on the glass, and that allowed them to rebound and run with Olivia Miles leading the way.
Olivia Miles showed that she's the real deal in that first half, and it's the many different things she did. So good out in transition. Here, she gets a little bit of space, goes to the rim. Look at how much time is on the shot clock. So only 3 seconds to go from one end to the other. Once again, out in transition. Surveying the landscape. Where's the defense? Where's the teammates? And when Dara Mabry's open, she puts her hands up in the air, and Miles tends to find her. And then she was getting it going in her mid-range as well. Defense goes behind on the screen. The big doesn't step up to contest. Just Olivia Miles had it going from jump in this game.
A dominant performance. Can they keep it going for Connecticut? The third fewest first half points in the last 5 years, and Fudd was scoreless with a bit of an injury. Holly, you spoke with Gino.
Gino Auriemma said AZ Fudd is probably going to give it another try. They've evaluated her at halftime, but not sure how effective she can be. Said really the problem is we haven't been able to get into an offensive flow, and when we go long stretches without hitting a basket, we just lose our focus on the defensive end. Of course, that will help from Lou right there, but just needs more focus on defense and to get in more of a rhythm and flow offensively.
Yeah, they were already without Dorka Juhas, who's still out with the thumb injury, and Gino also told us earlier she's a key to the flow of their offense as well. Fighting Irish and Maddie Westbeld not only respond to the bucket, but knock down the three.
Yeah, Westbeld's been the beneficiary of some penetrate and kicks from her perimeter teammates, and just gotten some really nice open looks and has delivered on them.
She and Mabry are 5 of 5 from downtown. Just underway, second half. UConn 6-0 on the season with 3 top 10 wins, and now on the road looking for another one. The Fighting Irish trying to bounce back from their first loss of the season to Maryland the other day on a buzzer beater. Edwards, she's going to have to be big if they want to make the comeback.
Nice patience offensively by Connecticut, switching sides of the floor, finally getting a touch inside. One of their few easy looks.
Westbeld short on the shot. Her first miss of the day. Here comes Mule. Working around inside and up and in from close range for Patterson.
She's a workhorse, and if she can give you points, that's a bonus. She's in there for defense and rebounding, and wow, that's a lot of contact.
The foul called on Nika Mule. That's going to be her third. Let's take you back to that first half injury for AZ Fudd.
Bransford pushes through the screen, and Aaliyah Edwards comes down on that right knee of AZ Fudd.
Had to go back to the locker room, then came back onto the court and played for a lot of that second quarter. But at 24 points per game, scoreless thus far. And we'll have to try and come off the bench perhaps here in the second half. Edwards short. Here comes Miles. Tried to thread the needle. It's picked off by Patterson. Kick out. Lopez Seneschal short.
And there's just not the same spacing. There's one three-point shooter on the floor right now for Connecticut, and that's Lopez Seneschal. I mean, Nika Mule hit a couple early, but she doesn't do that in large numbers, so you're just not going to have the same spacing that you would have if AZ Fudd was on the floor.
Watson turns to face. Westbeld to the left hand. And that's going to be foul on the Irish on the rebound. That's her third.
Watson has just piled up the fouls here today. Hasn't gotten a ton of minutes as a result.
Just 8, in fact, for the starting forward. So she'll sit with the 3. Mule stays in the game with 3 for Connecticut. Edwards with the cut, and again, hands in the passing lane. Westbeld looks to bury the defender. The double comes. She kicks it out for the shooter. Triple for Citron. Lopez Seneschal uses the screen and hits.
She's going to have to take a bulk of the scoring load for Connecticut because she's the player who can score off the bounce. Notre Dame in this zone. Connecticut trying to set some screens, but they're not going to get a ton of touches inside the way Notre Dame's defending.
Here comes the Ebo screen. Miles able to use it. Goes back to the left. That won't go. Mule with the push. Good rim run for Edwards.
And you get a stop at one end. It gives you an opportunity to run the other way. And not a whole lot of stops in the first half for UConn.
That one, the Irish were shooting 65% from the floor. As Ebo turns it over. On ESPN Tuesday night, it's the Jimmy V Classic from Madison Square Garden in New York. Illinois, Texas at 7. And then Iowa Duke at 9:30 on the men's side Tuesday night. To donate, go to v.org/donate. UConn trying to chip away. They've been down by as many as 18. Mule off the bounce, got it, and one.
Looking to attack, and again, there's not a ton of space going against that zone because it doesn't have to extend, but Mule sees a seam. It's barely there. Gets in, Ebo there, with a little bit of the body.
Gina was talking about sort of the split personality, sometimes even in game. They struggled against Iowa early and then just blew up in the fourth quarter in a big win against the Hawkeyes.
This game has not gotten any less physical in the third quarter.
Offensive foul on Ebo, and after all the bodies bouncing around, that one whistled off the ball. see, does she try and clear her out?
See, to me, that's nothing compared to some of the other stuff that we've seen in terms of physical contact between the post players.
Ebo called for the swim move.
They don't like when you swim to the opponent's neck.
How about this now? The Huskies can get it under 10. For Patterson to set the screen. Lopez Seneschal in traffic. Deep rebound, no reset. Griffin got it. And Aubrey Griffin, who was 0 for 7, finally knocks one down. It's a 14-3 UConn run, and the Huskies are back in business. 5:01 to go, and the Huskies are hanging around. House here at Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center in South Bend for one of the great rivalries in college sports. 47-39, Notre Dame on a UConn on a 9-0 run in the last 2 minutes to tighten things up.
It's been really interesting because Connecticut's been able to go on this run against Notre Dame's zone, and you would think that's counterintuitive because Connecticut doesn't have a lot of three-point shooters on the floor. Curious to see next defensive possession for Notre Dame. Do they go back to the man-to-man? Because Connecticut was really struggling against the man earlier in the game.
Let's see what Neil Ivey draws up out of the timeout. Miles, who made a lot of noise early on, they have not really had opportunities for her of late. And the quick whistle against the Irish. They stick around, folks. A lot of stars are in the house, including one of the Irish legends back in South Bend.
Some of the most epic, important moments of this rivalry were courtesy of this woman right here, Arike Ogunbowale, the legend in the building. You just got this huge standing ovation. What does it mean for you to come back here and be so loved and adored still?
I mean, it's amazing. I think, every college athlete, their goal is to, make a print on where you go, and they love me here, and I love them, so it's just amazing to be back.
I watch you in this game, and everything that happens well for Notre Dame, you're on your feet. Why does this rivalry still matter? It's still so in your blood.
I mean, it's always going to matter. Once you're here, you're family, and, whether it's now, 20 years, I'm going to be cheering the same, so it's definitely just amazing to see how they're competing and see it in person.
This is the Jimmy V Classic, and I know cancer has touched your family in a very unique way. Why is it so important for you that we're continuing to fight it so?
Yeah, like you said, both my grandmas died from cancer. My mom had cancer before she had me, so it's definitely important. It hits close to home, and I'm just glad, Jimmy V and everybody that donates able to do something.
We watch the W, and we know you are thriving and shining for the Dallas Wings. All-Star, MVP of the All-Star game in 2021. What's next for you at that level?
I'm trying to get everything, anything that I can accomplish, I'm trying to do. But the main goal is the championship, so that's the goal for Dallas for sure.
And then last question, you're going for the WNBA over to Senegal to help spread the game to Africa. Why is that important for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 50% Nigerian. My dad was born and raised in Nigeria, so just being able to give back to Africa is amazing. I have a lot of fans out there as well, but there's a lot of athletes out of there, so I'm excited to just go and do whatever I can to help.
Thank you so much. Arike Ogunbowale, legend here, but legend in the W. We love you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Holly.
Thank you so much, Holly. Of course, on that national championship team in 2018, and then helped get the Irish back to the final in 2019. They beat Connecticut in both those semifinals on those runs. So much history between these two programs. Over 2,600 points for the two-time All-American. Most in school history.
Has anyone ever had a more epic couple of performances in the Final Four? Connecticut now extending their defensive pressure, takes some time off of the clock in terms of Notre Dame's shot clock.
10-0 run for Connecticut. Citron will end that with the bucket.
Good job just keeping her handle when she came off the on-ball screen to get to the middle runner. Yep, Notre Dame back to man-to-man, no surprise.
Griffin looking for her second in a row. Weak side for Nika Mule. Another whistle off the ball.
This is so interesting to me. There was so much physicality in the first half, and then here in the second half, there's been a lot more whistles.
Foul on Bransford. In the bonus here with under 4 to go in the third. Patterson now 7 for 9 from the line on the season.
She's been good in her minutes here so far today. Just brings energy, brings a grit and toughness.
Some more minutes due to the injury to AZ Fudd, who returned to play in the second quarter but has not come back out onto the floor yet in the third. As UConn continues to chip away at what was once an 18-point deficit. Miles, offensive foul.
We're gonna go
I think the elbow came up into the mug of Mule.
I think the officials are going to go to the monitor and take another look. Yeah, she extends that right arm, and it ends up in Nika Mule's right in her face. You'll see right there. Yeah.
Yep.
The ruling on the court is an offensive foul on Miles. The play is under review for a possible upgrade.
Well, there's a couple of things at work here. The fact that UConn has started scoring more means that Notre Dame has not been able to rebound and run, right? And Miles has been scoreless now after she tore it up in the first 15 minutes. She's been scoreless for almost the next 15 minutes.
She flourishes with pace. She flourishes with pace, and Connecticut's defense has been able to slow them down. This is a tough one. I don't necessarily think that they should upgrade it, although she extends the arm right into a player's face, and that tends to be something that the officials will upgrade. She doesn't extend the arm and kind of keeps the elbow bent. She would have been fine, but she extends the arm right into Mule's face. You'll see it here. Yeah. It's the extension, even to me, more than the original elbow. That could be the reason if they choose to upgrade this.
And Eric Bruton was right there on top of that to make the call. And now Mike Forsberg and Joe Vasili at the monitor.
Yeah, to me, it's the extension after the initial elbow. The initial elbow is a basketball play. The extension is extra.
They are taking a while to figure things out here.
So with unnecessary, for it to be an intentional foul, unnecessary. Yep. Again, I think the original elbow is a basketball play. The extension is what might become unnecessary.
It would be an intentional foul unnecessary. It would be a disqualifying flagrant if it's unnecessary and deemed excessive.
It's certainly not that.
After review, the ruling on the court has been changed to an intentional foul for unnecessary contact to the face. Connecticut will shoot 2 free throws and retain possession at midcourt with 30 on the shot clock.
Again, I think it was the extension of the arm after the original elbow.
So a chance here for a big swing for Connecticut. Free throw shooter. Talking about what could be a 5-point swing here. And now they will get possession. Foul was just the first on Miles.
It's almost a box and one here. They've got Citron face guarding Lopez Seneschal, and the rest of the team boxed up. Good defensive possession by Notre Dame.
Foul will be called on Connecticut, so they limit the damage after the intentional. Hold the Huskies to just a couple of points. Opportunity missed there for Connecticut. And now let's see if this lights a little fire under Miles as well. Olivia kicks it back out. Citron.
Really good penetrating kick, though, by Miles.
Edwards with the catch in traffic. Patterson kicks it out. They swing it to Mule.
Yeah, box and one. So clear on this possession.
Griffin on the drive. Nothing doing. Miles pulls up at the elbow. Ebo offensive rebound and a stick back. Griffin again, they're leaving her open and inviting her to take that shot. She's now 1 for 11 on the day. Miles on the drive and one.
Give Neil Ivey credit for the way she has changed up her defenses, because when Notre Dame has gotten stops in this game, it has fueled their transition, and that's what happened again on this possession. And when the transition is fueled, it's Olivia Miles who benefits from it.
Miles' first basket in a while since midway through that second quarter. Well, those are her numbers thus far, Holly.
Well, Olivia Miles really showing some of her game and what she's got there as we see another travel called. And, you know, I was actually here in August for football, but I stopped in at practice and I watched Olivia Miles practice against their male practice players. And it was so physical and so hard, and she is getting stronger and better every time. Just able to use that frame, figuring out how to finish in contact, and it was really interesting seeing the work they're putting in to make sure that Olivia Miles can continue to improve with her strength and ability to finish.
And 5'10", she's got great size for a point guard. Good frame as well.
For more, by the way, Katie Barnes has a great article on ESPN.com about Olivia, including how her soccer game has improved her basketball game. Westbeld with the catch and the finish. Notre Dame with the counterpunch. Notre Dame, minute and a half to go here in the third.
Notre Dame has gotten some really good looks when they've penetrated and kicked, or when they've got it into bigs after there's been a switching situation. For Connecticut defensively, that time a couple more paint points. 30 points in the paint in this game for Notre Dame so far, only 12 for Connecticut.
Coming up on Monday Night Football on ESPN, it's the Saints visiting Tom Brady and the Buccaneers in Tampa, 8 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6. And over on ESPN2, the Manning Cast is back with Peyton and Eli. Monday Night Football. Good response from Notre Dame after the intentional foul really could have swung things in Connecticut's favor.
That was a huge stop they got after those free throws.
They've scored the last 6 points. Again, no easy FUD at all here in the second half after an injury in the first. Lopez Seneschal, air ball. Held ball on the weak side, and it will go to the Irish.
Well, if Neil Ivey wanted to see physical toughness out of her team, she has certainly seen it to this point. Now up 11 with 11 minutes to go. Mental toughness becomes a big part as well.
I was going to say, last 10 minutes is the one area they're still trying to figure out, and that's how to finish close games. They could not do it against Maryland the other night.
Well, I actually talked to Niele Ivey about how they closed that game against Maryland. She said, I watched film with Livy. We have to be more organized offensively, get into the sets we want, and they're trying to fix what went wrong this week against Maryland by film study with the head coach.
Miles fade. On the run, Lopez Seneschal. Yeah, they were neck and neck with Maryland, and then Diamond Miller got them on a buzzer beater for their first loss of the season. But a good response through 3 quarters, not only from the players on the court, but the fans in the stands. It's been electric here in South Bend.
Connecticut now, anytime Miles is coming off an on-ball screen, are trapping it. That's why Westbeld was so wide open.
Shot clock is now off for Notre Dame. Miles drops it off the Westbeld. And a foul.
I think Olivia Miles is thinking, you want to force me left? Fine. I'm going to go left, and I'm going to keep going left, and keep going left, and then I'm going to find my open teammate for the and one. Arike Agumboali, how you feel about it?
She likes it. Her and Natalie Achanwa is sitting next to her. Westbeld 14, now making 15 points and 8 boards for Maddie today. One more chance for Connecticut. Ducharme off the bounce. Offensive foul, and now another chance for the Irish.
Great toughness to step in and take that charge when you know Ducharme has a head full of steam and is going to be attacking the rim.
Speaking of head full of steam, here comes Miles with 5.6 to go. Oh, she'll pull up from the logo. Short on the shot. 58-46, Irish on top of Connecticut as we head to the 4th. And the Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona. Execution and the finish critical for the Irish to try and close it out in the 4th quarter today. They've been up by as many as 18, and then Connecticut got back within 5 in that 3rd quarter. Lopez Seneschal fouled on the drive.
Connecticut running actions, trying to get Seneschal some open looks. Again, right now, she is Connecticut in the half court, Connecticut's best creator in terms of getting her own shot off the dribble.
Azzi Fudd continues to sit on the sideline for Connecticut. An injury in the first half, did come back out to play in that 2nd quarter. We have not seen her since. The other critical moment was the intentional foul against Notre Dame late in the 3rd quarter, but they did not let it hurt them. They went on a 9-2 run to close out the quarter.
If anything, it fueled them.
Yeah. Connecticut unbeaten early in the season at 6-0. And on the ropes, on the road. Westbeld. Boy, she's been huge today for the Fighting Irish. 17 points to go along with the 8 boards.
Really good job playing her own pace today, whether it's been stepping into open threes or taking her time on her post moves.
Ping-ponging around. Nebo's got it. Credit Miles with the steal. Long bounce pass. Not enough on it. Here comes Mule. And she passed to the wrong player in blue. It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives, and you can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. balanced attack offensively for Notre Dame. 3 different players in double digits. Miles, 5 on the shot clock. Tried to create some space for herself.
Good defensive possession that time for UConn.
Inside, Westbeld got the block. Edwards mid-range. That won't go. Inside to Ebo. Finds a teammate on the baseline, and Bransford missed the layup. Second chance, got it. Freshman from Cincinnati gets the bucket, and Notre Dame builds the lead back up. Lopez Seneschal off the curl. Miles with the burst and the finish. Timeout, Connecticut.
Notre Dame trying to run away with this game in the fourth quarter, and they have been so good when they've been able to get their running game going from this young woman, their 5'10" sophomore, Olivia Miles.
6-0 run for Notre Dame to open things back up here early in the fourth quarter. Number 35 right there with her back to us is AZ Fudd. And let's take you back to the injury in the first half. A foul called as a defender tried to run through the screen, and Aaliyah Edwards ended up backing right into Fudd's right knee. Went to the bench, ended up going back to the locker room, came back out and played some in the second quarter, but has not been back out there in the second half. And that has made it very difficult for Connecticut on the offensive end. A lot of credit to Notre Dame's defense for making things very difficult.
Yeah, they changed it up again now with Aubrey Griffin in the game. Not a three-point shooter. Ducharme out. Now Notre Dame in 2-3 zone.
Aaliyah Edwards, good. She's got 14 to beat the shot clock buzzer.
Yeah, it was a good possession offensively for Connecticut. But yes, Neil Ivey has switched up her defensive schemes based on UConn's personnel, almost possession by possession.
Of course, the understudy to her head coach here, Muffet McGraw, for years also. Big collision. Griffin into Citron. She appears to be okay.
She took the pump fake and left her feet. And takes the pump fake, and then that's what results. Oof. It's a lot of contact.
Those two are familiar with one another, as Holly reported earlier, from their high school days.
Not familiar enough to know that Citron's got a pump fake.
Foul off the ball on UConn. That's the fourth on Mule with 6:20 to go. Ebo. Beautiful. Terrific out of bounds.
Beautiful. Citron was curling off of the screen. Both defenders went with her, leaving Ebo wide open. Beautiful set.
Lopez Seneschal answers with the three. I was about to say, with Niele Ivey, not only her Rolodex from Coach Muffet McGraw, but also years as an assistant in the NBA. And like all good coaches, they're not afraid to steal some of the good stuff from folks they've come across over the years when it comes to play calling.
We saw a beautiful play drawn up by Ivy in their game against Maryland before the game winner by Diamond Miller, and it was a play she took from the Las Vegas Aces.
Oh, how about Ebo? Muscling up inside.
Yeah, the physicality in the paint has been next level.
She didn't have a basket in the Maryland loss. She's got 10 points today.
And a bunch of screens.
Edwards.
Yeah, back to a box. And back to a box and one on Lopez Seneschal.
Under 5 minutes to go. Mabry uses another Ebo screen. And the Irish are pouring it on here in the fourth. Out of bounds to Notre Dame. I think the other thing off of the Maryland loss for DL Ivy, hey, let's not worry too long about it. Let's learn from the lessons. Let's move on. That was their first major test from a strong opponent all year. And so they have obviously built off of that and come back much stronger and much different here today.
They have veteran leadership on this Notre Dame team, but they also have some really important pieces who are sophomores. And for them to respond to that loss to Maryland, to the way they've come out from the jump in this game has been impressive.
What does Miles like to say? She's swaggy, I believe, is the term she prefers.
Connecticut needs to go with some more size. And DeBerry in the game now as a result, 6'5".
Tuesday night on ESPN, it's the Jimmy V Classic on the men's side from Madison Square Garden. Illinois, Texas at 7. Iowa, Duke at 9:30. To donate, go to v.org/donate. By the way, you can see UConn again next Sunday on ABC at Maryland. And the bucket there from Amari DeBerry. Right off the bench cold. And
we've seen her just come in before. A season ago against Georgia Tech, she came in late in the game and just started to hit some shots in moments where Connecticut needed it.
Miles.
Oh, what a pass.
Cross court. Mule with the cross, goes in with the lefty lay-in. 2 Sundays from now on ABC. We've got Stanford and Tennessee, so some good Sunday afternoon action coming your way. Building towards the holiday season.
I like hanging out on ABC on Sundays.
Not bad.
It's a good time.
Midweek, by the way, on ESPN2, Iowa State. Caitlin Clark had a triple-double today in Iowa's win. Shot clock winding down, and it's blocked by Edwards. And a shot clock violation. Of course, everyone's still looking up at South Carolina. Undefeated, ranked #1, unanimous. Or the defending champs. UConn will have them in February. Edwards. Offensive foul called on Aaliyah Edwards.
The Edwards driving left, but you see her with her right arm, extends it out a bit. Yeah, right here. Pushing off on Westbelt, who keeps her arms out of the picture. You can defend moving your feet.
Citron was looking the other way and looked up just in time to catch the pass. Ebo, boy, is she a woman on a mission. Asking for the dang ball today is Lauren Ebo.
She's been a difference maker. She's been an absolute difference maker. She's taken up space defensively nicely. She's called for the basketball in the paint, set some really, really good screens out on the perimeter.
reach-in foul. And of course, the big thing moving forward for Connecticut will be the status of AZ Fudd. They're already without Paige Beckers and Ice Brady, gone for the season. Dorka Juhas missed the game again today with the thumb injury. And now an apparent knee issue for AZ Fudd today, one of the leading scorers in the country.
And another defensive board for Notre Dame. They've been stellar on the defensive glass.
How about plus 13 on the boards this afternoon for the Irish?
There's been a lot of misses because Connecticut's only shooting 36%.
Ebo turns and kicks it out.
Wow, look at the points in the paint. Notre Dame has owned it.
Yep. Some of that's Ebo. Some of that's Westbeld. Some of that's the dribble drive from the guards and Miles.
Transition.
Well,
what's happening?
Ruling on the court is Connecticut basketball. The play's under review.
We're under 2 minutes, so they're double checking to see whose ball it is. Let's see.
Well, one thing we know. Oh boy. That one was a little far away. Oh, I think that is.
Yeah, that's off of Connecticut.
Connecticut.
And in the WNBA, if it's like a foul or hitting somebody's hand, which is the reason it goes off, they can overturn it, but you can't in women's college basketball. So this will be Notre Dame's ball.
Yeah, I think the lime green citrus nail polish, which sometimes could be a negative, was actually an Ebo positive right there, because the nails did not touch the leather.
Another Ebo positive. There's like been tons of them. And all the way down to the nail polish.
Oh. They're trying to hand the Huskies their first loss. How about the parity around college basketball to start out the season? This would be, let's see, the six top 10 teams in the preseason poll already lost. Tennessee, by the way, with their loss today, they have fallen below 500 as Virginia Tech got them on the road.
Yeah, so
Following the review, Connecticut 11 touches the ball last. It'll be Notre Dame ball.
So she touches it last because she gets her hand hit from Ebo, right? But in women's college basketball, you can't take that into consideration. WNBA, you can. I'm painting my fingernails that color.
I'm going to start.
In case you and I have a monitor review.
Of course, now for Niele Ivey, she's got tape on Lauren Ebo. Say, hey, we need the consistency like this every night.
And you know what Ebo will say? Fine, give me the minutes. Give me the minutes.
Olivia Miles having a field day, 21.
Going left.
How about a couple of baskets for Amari DeBerry off the bench? He had 6 points, 7 rebounds in her 13 minutes against Providence. They've already opened up Big East play with a win. Final minute of this historic rivalry between UConn and Notre Dame. And a timeout called by Niele Ivey.
Olivia Miles has had such good control of this game and goes in and she kind of pizza pies it with her left and then uses her right to help finish it. But she came out with tremendous confidence, set the tone from the jump of this game, pushing the pace in transition, leading her team. Kind of saying to the rest of her squad, I'm ready to score today. I've been setting you guys up all season. I'm ready to score. And they had a great scoring mentality early on.
Well, it started with her. She had 11 of their first 13 points. And on the day, Notre Dame shooting 57% from the floor. The sophomore out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, who had a triple-double in the NCAA tournament last year, the first time ever for a freshman.
And guys, I told you early in the game that the number one thing she wanted to to work on this season was pace and aggression, but I didn't tell you what the number 3 thing was, and that was to get her scoring up. I think she's doing that. She knows that if she's playing fast, she can dish. You talked about the triple-double, the youngest to ever do it at the NCAA tournament, but I think the scoring is going very nicely in pairing with that. So 1, pace, 2, aggression, 3, scoring.
You're holding out on us.
Holly, check.
Check. Check. Check mark, Olivia Miles.
Oh, that's Horo, always holding something back till the 4th quarter. The strong finish. Miles, can she add to it? Oh, almost. Well, you got Marcus Freeman in the house today. You got Arika Ogunbowale. You got Natalie Achanwa. Did you know who was in the front row at UConn games when you were playing? A little something special when the celebs are in the house?
You know who was in the front row in those days? The media. It was press row. Things have changed.
Pass is picked off, and they're on their feet. Notre Dame will take the home dub, 74-60 over UConn, the final.